All right. Um, Man, I just raced like 50 something videos. I don't think I raced anything. I've just been getting drunk and blabbing away. Um, but I'm getting close to the transition. I've got about a week and a half before boom, go time, right? Um, but I just gotta start getting healthier. Like I've been in monk mode for a long time, past 6, 7 years. Um, but I want to get healthy. Like my body's starting to reject all this stuff. But I still got like a week to go, right? A week and a half or so. And so, I thought, what? I want to do the Divine Pymander again. Um, it's been a long time since it's been over a year since I did the Divine Pymander. But I do that. I'll come back to it. At least once a year. Um, and it's been nothing. I've been doing it for like 10, 15 years. And I've been getting just nothing, nothing, nothing. But the last time I did it, and I made a video on this, and you can find it in the playlist. If you want to understand this video, then go check that one out. I'll probably do another playlist like Divine Pymander 1.2, but I'm still on the first book, I'm gonna take my time. Um, 'Cause usually I read the whole thing, but like last time I just did book one. Now I'm gonna do it again. But I cracked it. I think I did. I think I cracked what was going down. So yeah, let's do the Divine Pymander, book one. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna do the Touch ID, right? Mm-hmm. There's nothing on this computer that any of you would have to chop my finger off to get this information. But here we go. Hermes Trismegistus, his first book. O my son, write this first book, both for humanity's sake and for piety towards God. For there can be no religion more true or just than to know the things that are, and to acknowledge thanks for all the things to Him that made them, which thing I shall not cease to continually do. So, this first part is said by, I think, a god. It might be said by Hermes to a student, and I don't know why they don't have the names before this. But so this is now a question that he is going to ask this guy who is just waxing on. What then should a man do, O Father, to lead his life well, seeing there is nothing here true? Be pious and religious, O my son, for he that doth so is the best and highest philosopher, and without philosophy it is impossible ever to attain to the height and exactness of piety and religion. But he that shall learn and study the things that are, and how they are ordered and governed, and by whom and for what cause or to what end, will acknowledge thanks to the workman as to a good father, an excellent nurse, and a faithful steward. And he that gives thanks shall be pious or religious. And he that is religious shall know both where the truth is and what it is, and learning that he will be yet more and more religious. um, for never, O my son, shall or can that soul which, while it is in the body, lightens and lifts up itself to know and comprehend that which is good and true, slide back to the contrary? For it is infinitely enamored thereof, and forgetteth all evils. And when it hath learned and known its father and progenitor, it can no more apostatize or depart from that good. And let this, O son, be the end of religion and piety, whereunto thou art once arrived, thou shalt both live well and die blessedly, whilst thy soul is not ignorant whither it must return and fly back again. For this only, O son, is the way to truth, which our progenitors travelled in, and by which, making their journey, they at length attained to the good. It is the venerable way and plain, but hard and difficult for the soul to go in that is in the body. For first it must, we'll stop right there for now. So let's go to this question right here. What then should a man do, O Father, to lead his life well? Okay, we'll ignore this for now. That's what this book is about. That's what this book is about. This book is going to be about. This whole book is going to be about the good life, how to lead your life well, right? It's going to be about morality and virtue. This is virtue talk right here, right? Like, as we get into this, like, I question whether this author even believes in God. Like, this author is claiming to tell you that he's going to teach you how to lead your life well. And that's what's going to go down in this book. Now, this part right here I like because it's like a table of contents. Because first we're going to, like, this first book is going to be about the things that are. Maybe the second book too. But then we're going to go over to how it's ordered and governed and by whom and for what cause. Right? This is like a table of contents right here, kind of, I think. But we shall see. I could be wrong on this. But in this first book, that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. We are going to learn the things that are, right? The things that are, right? For there can be no religion more true or just than to know the things that are, right? And so, like, he's gonna eventually give us a list, right? So, I mean, this whole first book is about, like, look at this. This is a list, big old list about the things that are. But when he is, see, he's going to talk about two different types of people, right? And that's what's going to happen, because you have the list and then you have more dialogue. And he's going to talk about two different types of people, right? So, I mean, we can easily break this up into the people that are and the people that are not, right? And so when you're going through this list, you're going to see God is good, man is evil, right? But again, you have to go back to what are we going after here, right? We're going after how to lead your life well, right? And so when we see God is good and man is evil, we're not talking theology here, right? We're talking, this is the people that are. This is the people, the human, the mans that are. These are the toxic people, right? So this is this is psychology. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that he is talking about psychology, human psychology. um so yeah, let's do this a bit. La la la. Mm. Water's good. Water is good. Mm. All right. Let's turn this light on. All right, there we go. Oh. All right, we'll see what color pops up. We've got this one. If it has any ink in it, I totally need new pens. All right, it does. All right, let's see here. The things that are, right? Things that are not. Okay, first, before we get into this, let me discuss, let me discuss my writing history, right? Which is very pertinent to some of the things that we're talking about, I guess. But we'll fast forward and, like it began with my dad forcing me and my brother down to learn English grammar. He just sat us down, taught us English grammar. And then, so after that, like if I wrote for my teachers in public schools, like my teachers would just like always just praise my stuff, And then one day my dad started homeschooling us because he didn't think the public schools were doing a good job. That's why he sat us down to teach us English grammar, because he didn't think the public schools were doing a good job. And he was just trying to do his fatherly duty, I guess. Good man though. He doesn't like me, but whatever. No, I think he's a good man. Some of the times, but aren't we all? Let's see here. So I started getting homeschooled, and this lady asked, the teacher, she asked us to write a short little piece on what you want to do in the future, right? And so I got down, I'm like, just start writing with all this like confidence. I start writing about how like I'm living in a prison, and it's my hope to escape this prison and be free. I was just like, just waxing on and shit. And I got it back, and I got it like a C, and I was like, what the hell, fucking C? And so like, I go to the end, and she starts, she's like, wow, this is very imaginative. This is that, da da da, and I'm like, get to the point, bitch. And like finally, right at the end, she's like, but this is glib, right? And I was pissed. It's like, what the fuck? This isn't, whatever. So I go to the dictionary to look up what the word glib means, right? Then I reread my stuff, and I'm like, wow, this is pretty glib. Like, shit, bitch was right. But like, listen to all this shit that we just read. Like, listen to it. It's glib. It is glib as fuck. Right? And so, it's like, what's up now, bitch? You know, because like I know how to write shit like this. You know, where you can hide meaning within the glibness, right? Because it's vague. Like, what is God? You know, you ask somebody who God is, and you can get 50 million answers. What is piety? What is that? What are the definitions of all these words that he's using? Because each person is gonna bring like piety to them is something different. What does that mean? Shit. This is very glib language. But again, like at the end of this book, I'm pretty sure he's gonna start to avoid all conversation with the multitude or common people. That is what he is doing in this book. Right? He is avoiding conversation with the multitude and the common people. In other words, this is all coded. This is code. Right? This is all code. Um, right? So he's saying, like right here, that if the multitude understood the words that he is saying, right? If the multitude understood the words that he is saying, then they're going to sharpen their evil and they're going to sharpen their maliciousness. So, like think about it like this. Again, I'm claiming that this is psychology that is happening right now. He's not talking about God. Now, eventually, he might start talking about God. Like he might be searching for God by studying human behavior, right? But this is very scientific, right? Like he's speaking about human behavior in much the same way that a modern psychologist would speak about human behavior. Um, I totally think so. Doop, 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 doo. So I mean, again, this is code. This is total code that is happening. I think, and again, he tells you why he is coding it because he doesn't want the people that are not to understand what he's saying, right? So like, let's go to this, right? The things that are and the things that are not, right? Um, like let's like one of the things that's always fascinated me is that people talk to one another, but you can make a huge distinction between two different types of humans, right? You can make a huge distinction between two different types of humans. Right? You have people out there who listen, and you have people out there who don't listen. They dictate the conversation. There's so many fucking rational men out there that are constantly dictating to you what is true and what is not. That is not a conversation. There's no listening that happens. Right? Um, I mean, you can only have a conversation if it's a back and a forth, right? But there's a maturity to listening, because somebody may be saying something that you don't want to hear, or you disagree with. But just because you disagree with somebody doesn't mean they have to be your enemy. That's immature. It's just simply fucking immature. And it's mature to be able to disagree with somebody but not hate them. I mean, it's like that is listening. Listening is something that is, right? Now, why would somebody not listen? Right? Why would somebody not listen? Um, okay, it could be. I mean, there are people out there that praise stupidity. I mean, if you're like smart, then you're not cool, right? Um, Dominating narcissist. I mean, I think those are very explanatory. There's people out there that want to dominate your will. Like, they'll do something for you, but they're trying to gain a favor, which is power over your will at some point in the future. There's people out there who they get into a relationship and then they try to chase away all the friends, so they isolate the person, right? This is dominating behavior. People who are always trying to get leverage over others. Arrested development. Again, more self-explanatoriness. Like, if you go to a public education where they teach you that memorization is the height of the human brain, and they train you in obedience, and you don't have any critical thinking skills, right? Because what is critical thinking other than fucking listening? Like, shit. Um, but like, I wanted to illustrate this. Because we're talking about virtue and we're talking about morality, right? And there are the things that are and the things that are not, right? But if we come here, what do we see? We have somebody who is not. We have somebody who is not. But we have four different types of somebody, and we could keep going, right? We could keep going, right? We have four different types of somebody. Um, I mean, I think, like, if we go to somebody who is dominating, I think this would just, it would be a violation of love. So, like, over here, somebody who praises stupidity, they could be loving or hateful. Or like the most of us, In between. In between. Yeah, no, in between. Do. I mean, I'm talking about character, right? Because you have somebody who doesn't listen, and they praise stupidity, but they're more loving, or they praise stupidity and they're more hateful. Um, I mean, its character is interesting, right? Because you could have so many different types of characters. But if we go to this idea of good and evil, like when we come up here to ask, well, are they loving or hateful, or like shit? I guess another one would be indifferent, right? Maybe we could put that up there. I don't know. Anyways, and then in between would be all of these things, but whatever. If we ask this question, then we would get into this traditional ideas of good and evil with this love and hatred stuff. But that's not what's going on with I think that line, the things that are, because we're talking about a good life, right? We're talking about a life well lived, and it's painful to converse with people who don't listen, and the person who doesn't listen, they might not be bad people at all. It's just, again, it could just be that they've never been taught how to listen, right? um, now now as far as this listening thing is concerned, he may or may not directly talk about listening. Although when he talks about auditing, I definitely think he's talking about listening, because he's like, you got to listen to this text. um, but when we get into the list, because when we get into the list, he's going to be telling us the things that are, right? And I'm pretty sure resolute, not resolute. Right, so we're talking, this is binary. This is binary. This is ones and zeros here. Right? This is a distinction between human beings. There are human beings that are, and there are human beings that are not, right? And he's going to talk about how you've got to battle this within yourself, right? You've got to totally battle this within yourself. But you know what? I think there's a line coming up. Let's see here. That's interesting. Right. So I think right here he's saying, once you understand how to live well, you're not going to go back. And let this, O son, be the end of religion and piety, whereunto thou art once arrived. Thou shalt both live well and die blessedly, whilst thy soul is not ignorant whither it must return and fly back again. For this only, O son, is the way to truth, which our progenitors travelled in, and by which, making their journey, they at length attained to the good. It is venerable way in a plain, but hard and difficult for the soul to go in that is in the body. For first it must war against its own self, and after much strife and dissension it must overcome of the part. For the contention is of one against two, whilst it flies away and they strive to hold and detain it. But the victory of both is not like, for one hasteth to that which is good, but the other is the neighbor to the things that are evil. And that which is good desireth to be set at liberty, but the things that are evil of bondage and slavery. And if the two parts be overcome, they become quiet and are content to accept of it as their ruler. But if one be overcome of the two, it is by them led and carried to be punished by its being and continuance here. This is, O son, the guide in the way that leads thither. For thou must first forsake the body before thy end, and get the victory in this contention and strifeful life. And when thou hast overcome, return. Then boom, we're going to get into the list. All right. Right. For first must it war against its own self. Right. So, like he's saying that, like, I mean, we are capable. Like, I mean, he's saying the same thing that all moralists would say. We're capable of good or evil, right? We are capable of being not resolute, and we gotta overcome that. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Go back down to here. Here's the thing. Go back down to here. He's talking about, like, if you want to live a good life, you have to separate yourself. You have to separate yourself from people that are not. Right? You have to separate yourself from people that are not. But I mean, that's easier said than done, right? Because sometimes people that are not are going to be within your own family. Right? Or you're within your community, people, friends that you grew up with, and you just wake up one day and you're like, oh shit, this guy is not. I mean, I think, you know, again, he's talking about this the spiritual struggle, right? And we're gonna get into the list here and try to decipher it maybe in the next video. But man, you know, this last part had a lot of like interesting things. No, not that. This. So yeah, no, I still have not cracked this whole thing. Definitely not. But I think I'm getting there. I do. Because he's going to tell us about the things that are right. He's going to tell us how to live a good life, and yeah. So I mean, we'll definitely get into this list, and you know, I think I think it is about human behavior, right? And like, let's go to why wouldn't you want people to know this? And I've heard psychologists talk about this. It's like, and I've experienced it myself. It's like, you never want to laugh at a narcissist, because you'll make an enemy for life if you ever laugh, because there's a lot of laughter I think in here at the people that are not, right? And that in the way he is speaking is kind of in this serious smugness almost, right? um, but I think he's totally making fun of the people that are not. But I mean, you can't do that, you know. I mean, again, like one of the ways to another way to talk about things that are and things that are not, like would be to just say, you know, another distinction between people, humans, another binary to distinguish between different humans is whether or not there's any self-awareness. You know, is there any self-awareness in this person? Like people who are not self-aware cannot take any criticism, and they will never ever take any criticism. And we could go into the bubble of that. That would be interesting, but um, but yeah, no. I think this is human psychology that is definitely being talked about right now. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm gonna keep going. Eventually, I'm gonna stop this for now.